Patrick Cook here. Hey, thanks for returning. I hope you're enjoying this Mandelbulb 3D tutorial series. We're working on a full animation project. It's kind of hard to believe actually that we're making some progress, but that's okay, because what we're trying to do here is take this opportunity in a project-oriented situation to go through and talk about the various features and capabilities of the Mandelbulb 3D software. In the previous discussion, I was talking about the camera, all right, the standard, rectilinear, the pano. We also talked about the field of view in the previous session to that. And what I want to do now, since we're down in this area here, no, not really, I want to talk about the far plane. Now, like the camera choice that you make and the field of view, your far plane can actually be utilized for creative purposes. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back to 50. Let's see, and I'm going to back out a little bit here. There we go. I want to be able to demonstrate what this far plane is. Now, let me get my whiteboard up and get my stylus over here. All right, let's make this the camera. Oh, there's our field of view. Let's make this our Mandelbulb object. I think that's pretty good, actually. Very artistic. Let's change the color here. Now, far plane. What the far plane is how far, it's the plane at which the camera will no longer render any type of image. So a far plane like this will not render any graphics beyond that far plane. It will only, the application, the graphic engine within the application will only render graphics in front of or on your side of the far plane. All right, so if we had a far plane that was right here, all right, all these graphics would be visible, but these graphics, or this portion of the Mandelbulb object, will be invisible. So the far plane is the point at which graphics will no longer render. They'll no longer be visible to the camera. All right, to the camera. So the camera will not see anything beyond the far plane. Now, that can be very artistically valuable. So let's get back into our software. And let's look at this far plane here. Now, putting a far plane of 0 is nonsense. Basically, the software can't even handle that. Let's put a far plane in of 100. All right, you see here that a great deal of our graphic is no longer visible. We can't see into the distance at 100 as much as we could see into the distance at 1000. Now, I don't know what that number represents. They say bigger values, more distant object visible. So I don't know what the numbers mean. I don't know if that's degrees or distance or cubic. I don't know. I have no idea. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that we understand that a low value far plane will push that far plane in closer to the camera, and so we don't see anything beyond the far plane. At 100, the far plane is pretty close. At 1,000, it's further out. 5,000 is further out. 10,000 is further out. So let's play with that. So there's 1,000. Here's 5,000. Here's 10,000. At some point, it doesn't make any difference anymore, right? Because, so let's do this. Let's see if we can back this thing way, way out here. All right. Way out. Way out. There we go. Now we're starting something happening here. This is a big, big, big graphic. Okay, I'll tell you what, let's look up. Let's see what's going on up here. This is a big graphic. Here we go. We got some. Okay, I get some of that blue sky there. There we go. Ooh, this ought to do nice. Good. Okay, so this is a far plane of 10,000. It's like really way out there. 10,000 seems to be the upper limit of the far plane calculation. And so it comes to a point where the application just simply does not have any further ability to render out anything visual. It's just so far out. But no, let's watch this now. So this is 10,000. Let me cut that in half to 5,000. You see how I got less graphic in here? All right, because the far plane is closer now. Now if I did this 1,000, 1, 2, 3, look at that. All right. So, and then if I do 100, now each of these functions down here uses a function key. So F1 will reduce the far plane value, which brings the far plane in closer. F2 will increase the value and take it out further. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do F1 and F2, and so that we can very quickly see the result of our far plane manipulation. All right, so here's F2. Now watch my far plane value come up here. All right, here we go. See how the graphics are coming into view? I'm up to 10,000 now. All right, I'm going to go back down. F1, 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 okay. All right, so our far plane enables us to be able to decide at what point there is no graphic rendered out. Okay, so let's find a different place here. Oh, here we go. Oh, let's try this right here. Okay, let's try that. Let's try our far plane. Now this is 10,000. This is a far plane as far out as I go. So the graphic here will be seen for as far as the graphic itself goes. Let's do an F1 to back it down. Not a whole lot of difference. There we go. All right, I'm at 687 on the far plane, and I'm beginning to lose visual that distance out. F1, 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 F1. You see? I'm down to 220, 180 now. So all that big, thick, fat graphic where that's all we could see was graphics in our camera, we use the far plane to eliminate some of the visual components within the scene that can give us some very interesting artistic results. Let's just poke around here. Let's see what else we got. All right, so yeah, this is a far plane of 180. Now I'm going to do F2. All right, I'm increasing the far plane. F2, F2, F2. You see? You see? All right, now I can get some very interesting effects here. Now if I start combining things like I do a 90 field of view, let's just look a little bit closer here, and then I do a field of view. All right, look at that. F1, 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 F2, 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 F2. So with the far plane, the field of view, and certainly the camera that we picked, let's pick rectilinear here, I can get some very interesting views, in addition to being able to reposition the camera. Now, I think we're coming up on a point where I'll talk about the navigation. All right, but let's save that for the next session. So I'll see you there.